Yes, sir, we promised you a great main event match.
This is classic.
Andre, the
WrestleMania!
Hulkamania is running wild.
The world is listening!
That little girl will forever be known as the Miz Girl, and I want to thank her. I want to thank her for reminding me of the struggle I had to go through to get here. Reminding me of everyone that ever said anything about me that I wouldn't make it. All the people at MTV that said I would never be a WWE superstar. Then when I got here, all the WWE fans and every superstar in that locker room said I would never amount to nothing. To the JBLs, John Bradshaw Layfield, to the Triple H's, to the John Cena's, I say this. The Miz is WWE Champion! Awesome!
I came to play, there's a price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees and pray. I came to say goodbye to the good old days. They're never coming back, watch your future fade. I came to play, get my dues paid. I guess you had a dream, but it can't be saved. I came to play. There's a price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees and pray. You say goodbye to the good old days. They're never coming back, watch your future fade. I came to play to get my dues paid. I guess you had a dream, but it can't be saved.
The first 15 times you hear the Miz's theme song, you just kind of think, oh, another generic entrance song. What the fuck is that? And then within there's something about the 9th time you hear it, or when you hear it on Jimmy Fallon and you hear a real band do it, you're like, there is a hook there, and it just keeps coming.
Yeah, once they beat it into you in the background of SmackDown versus Raw game, you have to accept it for an actual song.
I was late to the SmackDown versus Raw party, so as soon as I turned the game on and that song came on, I had already loved it, and I immediately wrote a review 10 out of 10. I didn't even play the game.
You're like, this is going to be a good game.
I'm a little biased here, but it is the whole fucking show on thewholefuckingshow.info. Just wanted to see how far I could do that for. See how long that drama. I was trying to build drama. It was like a Brahma Bull type of thing. And it is twitter.com/fucking show. The Whole Fucking Show on Facebook. Fucking Show Podcast on YouTube. But all of that is on thewholefuckingshow.info. I am Kevin Scampoli, but if you've done a little bit of research on the Hall of Fame of Internet E-Feds, you might have heard of Ivan Cage, maybe the Giant Johnson, and you might have heard of a little move that I did called, I actually don't remember my finisher. Do you remember your finisher when you were in E-Feds?
Oh, I absolutely do, and we're gonna touch on that in a little bit.
All right, good, because I just remember it being fancy. It was always some strange name, and it was nothing any wrestler could ever really do without, some sort of build-up or having a highlight video that was just that. So anyways, the point is that it's Fucking Show on Twitter, and who am I joined by?
Oh, I am Danny Richardson. In the E-Fed world, I would have been Primetime, just the same as the real world. I was the original Icon and the real-life Macaulay Culkin.
I can't get over the Icon. First of all, Primetime, you took a nickname, made it your wrestler name. Then you were the Icon. You must have been in the AOL Feds. I was up in the big leagues.
No. I was in the Angel Fire leagues. We were pretty hardcore about it.
I was in the EWF. I was in the X8OD. I was in the IW, 3-time champion. You were hanging out on AOL Angel Fire fucking Feds, where it's quantity over quality. They count the lines, and whoever could write the most lines won.
I was recruiting people off of Talk City chat rooms.
Stop bragging. All right, so get that music out of the way. It is the Whole Fucking Show. And it is the fucking show on Twitter, where you could read such things as, this is what I wrote the other day. Undertaker, Batista, Viscera, and the Great Khali making for the worst Elimination Chamber / punch match ever. Now, Danny, there's certain athletes in wrestling where their moves are not their best asset.
Yes.
It's actually the worst part about them is their matches. Yet somehow the Mark Henrys, or let's say the Goldust, seem to last forever on their limited abilities.
Sometimes all you need is a character, or in the case of the Attitude Era, you just needed a good catchphrase that you could repeat over and over. Which is the reason that R-Truth remains employed.
Yeah, R-Truth's been around longer than a lot of people realize. He was K-Quick, where he was even worse than he is now somehow.
Yeah,
and
I wish somebody would finally just tell him what's up so he could turn around and go home.
Really? So, all right, I found a video today that goes along with this theme that, I don't know, this video changed my mind on parental controls on computers. Like, you know how you surf the net and sometimes 5 clicks later you're looking at something terrible and you don't know how you got there, you don't know where you started anymore?
Absolutely.
Somehow I ended up on top 10 moves of Goldust / Black Rain. Now,
I thought we were going to talk about porn. There's no excuse for this.
You and I can discuss Goldust for a long period of time, as we proved before, but it's never about his matches. It's about the character. Perhaps it's how revolutionary it could be. He was able to sever a relationship with his father for wrestling. Just silly things like that. But now, moves? He has moves?
Yeah, I could think of 2, and both of them are his finishers.
Yeah, the curtain call. That's his best move. It might even be his only move. So let's see. I'm very curious what the top 10 moves of Goldust could possibly be. Oh, great. And they set the mood pretty well. Now, also,
if you weren't in the mood for Goldust, you are now.
I don't even want to read number 10. I won't read it yet because it's the best. Now, before I read it, you taught me who Black Rain was today. I fancy myself a wrestling fan. I had no idea who Black Rain was, and I feel like a phony kind of coming off like, oh, top 10 moves of Goldust, Black Rain. I know who that is. What is Black Rain again?
Black Rain was Dustin Rhodes' character in TNA, which was basically Goldust, but instead of gold, it was like black and white, or maybe it was like a black and silverish color. But it was the same character, but he was supposed to be a little darker, a little more demented, and they just threw him into feuds with Abyss and whoever else they thought fit that. I think he had a partner named Relic, and it was basically just killer backwards.
So they basically were like, okay, what's edgy about this character? What's original about this character? Let's take it out, and now let's put in Abyss. They made him Abyss, essentially.
Yeah, it was an excuse to do a bunch of no disqualification matches. The Monster Ball matches, which are just glorified no disqualification matches. And I don't know, at some point, somebody from TNA hired him and thought that he'll be a great hardcore wrestler for us.
Obviously. Maybe they saw this video. Now, the number 10 best Goldust move is turnbuckle punches.
Well, I can actually picture the turnbuckle punches, only because you get the little. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you get the little Goldust crotch shot.
Yeah, and they
right
actually
in your face.
They showed us the turnbuckle punches because at first I'm like, wait, turnbuckle punches? Is he hitting the turnbuckle? No, he's hitting the guy. And actually, if he did this to the Undertaker, he would get last rided. I'm going to tell him right now not to do it, but everyone does it. At WrestleMania.
It's a setup, yeah.
Yeah, your career is on the line at WrestleMania, or it's black versus light, and somehow you blew it, HBK. You did the same mistake 2 years in a row, and I've seen other people do it. All right, number 9 is the running thump, and it's you run.
Did he do that move?
You run and you hit them with your butt. He not only.
Well, you know what, that makes sense, because could you think of a character, outside of like the realm of a Rikishi? Do you think of somebody that you'd least want to get hit by their rear?
I can't think of a character who would have this athleticism. It's a move that is hard to do. Let me tell you something. You go on here, you go on this internet, you find your videos of your, what's that guy that's in TNA? That good guy, you look him up. No, you should be looking at the Goldust moves.
Yeah.
You looking at your Samoa Joe videos? No, you're wasting your time.
You're missing a good thump.
You're watching way too many kicks also. Now, at number 8, I wish there was audio of them like, oh my God, the running thump, like the announcer saying what he's doing. So at least by what they're saying, I could have you guess. Number 8 is the inverted atomic drop, which is also the number 8 best move in Bret Hart's finishing comeback series. Number 7 is the diving.
I feel like the inverted atomic drop should be on a list of anyone's moves. Like, it seems like this list is already dwindled down, to just here's some moves we saw him do one time.
This should be the top 10 most basic wrestling moves. Like for a student who's looking to get into the business, this should be made by Jim Cornette for, I don't know, Santino Marella when he first started out. All right, now we have a move here, number 7, the diving bulldog. Here's how you do it. And then he shows a clip of Goldust doing it. Now you want to do...
There'd be a checklist, and it's like, well, if you want to pass our wrestling school, we're going to need to see a thump, a diving bulldog, and you better have some good turnbuckle punches.
And on the video, they're like, okay, now you saw Goldust do it like this, but we're going to do it a little differently because you could hurt somebody or it just doesn't look good, and we want it to look realer.
Yes.
All right, so this is, what was this move? Let's see.
That was
the diving bulldog.
right?
Yeah. And by the way,
and that was not a good clip of a diving bulldog. It looked like he fucked it up in that clip.
if you're going to do any bulldog, you can't land on your knees. It makes you look like a women's wrestler. You're defending the Divas title, and you grab them by the hair and swing. No, you need to land on that ass. You can do the running thump to anybody, but you can't land on your ass when you're doing a bulldog.
Do you remember the Buff Bagwell diving bulldog incident?
No, what happened with this?
I want to say it was on Nitro, and God, off the top of my head, I can't remember who did it, but somebody did. They tried to do the diving bulldog to Buff Bagwell, and his head slips out the back. Oof. And as they're coming down, it's like the front of his head goes back into their arm, like it came out from behind and then goes back into them. And he got a neck injury from it and was out for a while.
I'm surprised your question wasn't, do you remember Buff Bagwell? Because I was ready to answer that one. But
he's buff. He's the stuff. How do you not remember Buff Bagwell?
Buff Bagwell is one of those guys like where I wonder if out of WCW they would be anything. I loved him. I really liked that character at that time. But I wonder, is he a good wrestler? Is he good on the mic? Or is this just WCW giving him to us?
It was because he had some muscles and somebody there thought he looked good on TV, and they put him on. He didn't have anything that stood him out above anyone else.
Yeah, he had his videos of top 8 moves. Like that was his thing. Punch, kick, and the flip.
He had the top 8, and nobody could find 2 other moves.
Yeah, his top moves were all his MySpace friends. These are my top 8 moves, and I can do 2 of them. I've done 2 of them.
Is there a chance that Buff Bagwell made his own YouTube video so that you wouldn't forget who he is?
Buff Bagwell, I'm kind of convinced he's good, because how do you get to the level he did, like with Scott Norton, just throwing that name out there. I was a Scott Norton fan. That shoulder breaker was brutal.
It was something great about the way Scott Norton was built physically, and I think that was a draw. Like he wasn't all muscle and he wasn't fat. It was just that weird, awkward phase in between where you're like, he's fat, but you're pretty sure it's a lot of muscle underneath the fat.
Right. He had a freakish physique, and if Big Papa Pump wasn't around, Scott Norton would have been my first AOL screen name instead. While we're on this, before I continue with Goldust's massive array of just signature moves like the Bulldog, and they're all just Bret Hart moves so far. We get the turnbuckle punches,
the inverted atomic drop,
the Bulldog done wrong. Bret Hart knows how to do a Bulldog. Watch a Bret Hart match and you'll see it.
That's a good Bulldog. When you throw your feet out like that, that's a good Bulldog.
He was afraid to do it. All right. And by the way, we know that Shattered Dreams is number 1. I haven't even seen it yet. I'm going to guess. So I got to ask you, as far as WCW characters and not knowing their true context in pro wrestling and where they would have ended up, DDP, is this guy good, or is he just a stripper bouncer who somehow... He looks dirty. Did he just somehow catch a break for being Bischoff's friend, like I've heard?
He did. There was never a wrestler that epitomized white trash by appearance alone more than DDP. And I liked him in WCW. I liked him even when he was a bad guy. They had him, he was still kind of mid-Carter when I started watching him. I remember they did an angle where he somehow lost all his money, and then somebody, he had an unnamed donor or whatever, gave him some money and he got back on top, and then then along comes the Diamond Cutter, and I was hooked.
Do you know the story of how he got there? Because with him, I've never, like you say, he's the perfect example of white trash, which I will agree with. But in wrestling terms, he seems to me like the perfect example of someone that people were forced to like. Or is that because I also look at Goldberg that way, but let's keep it on DDP. Is there any accuracy to that?
And he could have been, because there wasn't, if you look at wrestling ability, there wasn't anything too great about him. His mic skills were pretty decent. I think a lot of people might overlook him. Nothing fantastic, but he was, charismatic. He sounded pretty natural on the mic, much better than the 50% of anybody that's ever been in a ring.
Yeah, and his physique was just incredible, and his jeans were great. And
well, don't forget the taped ribs that he had every other week.
He should have been a mummy with his skin. He was a one big skin tag anyway. How do you get freckles on your chest and stomach? Who is this? He looked like I was about to bring up a kid I knew in high school because I don't know who else has the same physique besides those two people. They look like they're 65. Their skin is just melting off of them, and somehow he's beating Sting on Thunder for the U.S. title. How is this happening?
He looked like the guy that you would see on the beach in the European bathing suit for guys, just walking around you're like, oh, there's an old man that has spent a lot of time just hanging out in the sun. Like, he thinks he's in good shape, but you looked at him and you're like, no, not so much.
Yeah, that's a former world champion. That's the first thing you think when you see DDP.
No, all right, and I'm going to give you some DDP trivia, so I'm going to test you here.
Please.
Can you tell me the first WrestleMania that Diamond Dallas Page appeared at?
Now, the only reason why I have a chance here is because you bragged about somehow spotting DDP as a manager. So I'm going to go ahead and say,
did I already bring this up to you?
You leaked it on me, and I could have played it, but I'm too real. I'm going to go for it. 6.
I was 5, I believe.
All right, so you don't even know. All right, so
no, it was 5. I just didn't want to be overconfident with you and make you look bad.
Hey guys, and welcome to the real DDP. Today I am in my.
This guy looks like.
Holy crap! How old is this? This has got to be new, right?
This is from 2010 April.
Yeah, he sounds like it's from 2010.
He's a terrible, terrible looking man. He always has been, and now without somebody telling me he's good, I don't know what to think.
Hovel dress.
This is the people's champion. You like that? Now they're like, DDP is the people's champion.
Yeah, they did run with that gimmick for a little bit too.
Now, that video I was just playing, which I've closed, and I'm going to pretend I've never seen it. It's much more offensive than any Goldust move. I would love to see the top 10 DDP moves. The entrance from the crowd.
Well, you got to do the slam your back up against the barricade so the fans can touch your beef jerky skin.
Number 6, the diamond cutter symbol. Just I'm doing bang.
That's how people know they're about to feel the bang. If you don't do that.
There's a couple guys who were I'm not saying anything groundbreaking. There's guys in WCW who didn't get those pushes but were incredible. And one of them that doesn't get mentioned a lot is the gay dead guy Canyon. He was so innovative in the ring, and he was great on the mic. And me and my brother Jim were huge fans of him. And he just never worked for him. It seemed like. Well, he got kind of a push, but then even in WWE. Wasn't he like hated on for being gay? That was his big excuse.
Yeah, the connection between him and DDP would be that they
are both gay.
Went to WCW after the invasion angle, and neither one of them were anything close to what they were in WCW. They were just shells of what they used to be. Guys that maybe not Canyon as much, but DDP was huge in WCW. For a long time, he was the only foil to NWO Hogan. He was the only guy that didn't make the NWO jump.
And he was the only one with foil skin, so there was a lot happening with him. He was a baked potato, wasn't he? He was just wrapped in foil, and then they let him out of the wrapper to go win a match against someone he should never be in the ring with. Somebody should be managing.
Maybe one of the worst gimmicks ever in WWF, and especially for somebody that wasn't needed. I don't know if you remember, he was a motivational speaker.
There's something about the creative team there that liked to do that to characters. Bubba Ray Dudley stutters for no reason. What was that about?
The stuttering in WWF?
Yeah.
It's because in ECW, when they first started, he stuttered.
Don't make me look bad. Does that? Yeah.
What they try to do is pretend that you never saw them in ECW and went, well, we're just going to hit reset and do their gimmick all over again.
I hate it. All right. Let's go. Number 6, Goldust moves. Now, if you're going to throw out a guess, what do you think it would be? The headlock?
Do you want me to read the one that's on my screen? Or?
Oh, you got the video up. All right, It is the power slam.
I could have just thrown it out there, but I'm too real.
You are. I'm glad, because there's few people out there as real as Ivan Cage, as the modern day icon, and I finally.
There's a lot of honesty in this podcast, and people should appreciate that.
There's not a lot of honesty in this list, though. The power slam is a move.
I don't think I've ever seen Goldust do a power slam. I mean, I'm sure he's done it, but it's never stood out to me.
Plus, why would they take Batista's only top 10 move? Why would they take the one move Batista can do?
That's funny. You think Batista? I think Road Warrior Animal.
Great.
Those are the only two people that I think do like just the generic. Now, is this the I'm gonna pick you up and running power slam,
Let's
or is
see.
this the
No, I don't think so. I think it's the running at me power slam that Randy Orton does.
and that's who I think of. Yeah, like Road Warrior Animal.
By the way, just throwing this out there to whoever made this video, where's the Black Rain moves? Nothing but Goldust so far. Let's see this power slam.
Number 3 through 1, I'm guessing.
Okay, now here's the clip they picked. There, in the clip, he's walking after someone crawling, and it's like a Royal Rumble. Someone else runs at him, and he notices him at the last second and does it. So
and I know this isn't going to go over for people that are just listening to this, but I don't feel this was an actual video. I mean, could you get worse quality? It looks like just like an animated avatar that somebody has on a message board.
Yeah, this is the lowest quality GIF image I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think Shelton Benjamin, who got the power slam, his trademark. It'd be a more realistic comment to say that one of Shelton Benjamin's trademarks is getting the power slam based on that one clip than Goldust giving it. Because first of all, Goldust, I've said this to you before, Danny. Goldust would be a great skinnier character. He would soar, but his chubbiness combined with that bodysuit and his lackluster bulldogs and spine busters are just terrible.
See, for me, all it would have taken was some good underpants, because I could never pay attention to his match if I could look at him while he's wrestling and know what religion he was.
Wait, what are you saying? Religion? What?
I'm saying that stuff was so tight I could tell if he was circumcised or not.
Oh,
You gotta follow along with it. It's a quick base.
You're getting too real. You're getting too real with me. I thought you were talking about Scott Steiner. I go, what? Religion? And
no, Goldust.
I just see what you want to do here is just say random wrestlers' names like I did and move forward like it was a joke. That is how real I am.
All right. Are we at number 5 now?
Yeah, I don't even know what it was. I swear to God, I hit play and I looked over somewhere else. I as a viewer and someone who's supposed to be talking about this didn't give a fuck enough. It was the Spine Buster. I went back.
It was the Spine Buster. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm now going back and trying to see who he gave the Spine Buster to.
Let me see.
Is that the Blue Blazer?
Dude, I have no idea. It's Sergeant Slaughter with a blue cape on. It doesn't make any sense. Now, first of all, that's also the only time he's ever done the Spine Buster, because what happened is he messed up a power slam. So now he has a new
He
trademark
went for the
move.
power slam. He didn't get to the side in time.
This guy, Goldust. Come on. Goldust is when you say that now, you don't think of one move, let alone 10.
Yeah, well, you're definitely not thinking of the big, power slam and Spine Buster.
Now, the director's cut. Before I watch it, do you know what this move is?
I don't. I definitely feel like I've heard the name, but maybe it's just from him. I cannot picture what the move is.
It's the curtain call. He doesn't even know what it's called. This guy.
Oh, shut up.
It's the curtain call.
Oh, yeah. No, that's horrible.
Now,
and I still can't figure out who he's fighting.
I think that's Hurricane Animal. I just made that guy up. These two guys combined.
It looked like Adrian Adonis, which is awkward because he died in like 88.
I like to combine gimmicks and then combine names, and that's my new character. Hurricane Animal is getting the curtain call or the director's cut, depending on who you talk to. Depending on what coast you're on, it could be either one. But here's the thing. This is number 4. Now, again, Goldust has one or two moves watchable, and this is one of them. What could possibly be better?
Yeah, how did his finisher that he's done more than he's ever done anything else, including turnbuckle punches, how did the finisher come in at number 4?
And he only had like 7, so he goes, all right, I need some moves. Turnbuckle punches, perfect. People are counting with it. They seem to like it. Also, the curtain call he picked, visually, very stunning. It's a fat guy. I think it is Hurricane Animal. He's very chubby, and he got it really well.
It's definitely Hurricane Animal's colors there. Oh, look at what we have here at number 3.
The blackout. This is a Black Rain move, finally, I
Yes,
assume?
absolutely.
It's the curtain call, but with a different name for TNA. Is that what's happening? All right, let's
No, it's a little bit different, but it's not any more impressive.
Oh my god. All right, now there's a move that it might be next. This was basically a move I remember him doing where he puts him like in the powerbomb position And you know how he used to do a move where he just jumps and lands on his feet, and that was supposed to hurt them?
Yeah.
Now this is a pedigree version where he doesn't grab the arms but hits the mat.
Yeah, that's the blackout.
Is that his finisher?
When he was Black Rain, it might have been. I don't feel like I saw enough Black Rain matches to know if he ever had a finisher.
I don't feel like I've seen enough Black Rain matches. If you have a weekend available, we should definitely catch up on our Black Rain matches.
If you've got an hour and a half, we'll do a Black Rain marathon.
An hour and a half. We'll watch every Black Rain match if you have an hour and a half.
Well, including promos.
Number 2 is the Schizophrenic, which I guarantee is nothing more than the worst heart punch of all time. How great would that be if it was the heart punch was his number 2 move?
See, and I think that fit into the Black Rain character because I remember there was a storyline that he would switch uncontrollably from Black Rain to Dustin Rhodes, and it was like the whole idea was that Black Rain was like an alter ego personality from his childhood that he's been fighting, and so every once in a while he'd turn into Dustin Rhodes and then he'd go back to Black Rain, and it was weird because I don't know how they felt they could explain it that we've been watching this guy since 1995 in WWF and before that in WCW, and we've never heard of this alter ego that he couldn't fight off.
Can we please never bring up Dustin Rhodes or Reynolds again after this? Because I don't like the idea that we talk about him more than anybody in wrestling. And I don't like the idea that we do it so happily and enjoy it. And to the point where I'm making up wrestlers that never existed and I'm ready to create them in SmackDown vs. Raw. I'm going to create Black Rain and Hurricane Animal tonight. And I think primetime.
I like that we acknowledge Dustin Rhodes as if he's passed away recently.
Yeah, right.
Like we have been doing a memorial for Dustin Rhodes, and no point have we acknowledged that he's been around since 2007.
Yeah, these are new moves he's doing.
It's like he's in WWF right now. Like he didn't go anywhere, and he's still Goldust. He's still doing the exact same gimmick that we talk about. Oh, he went, in the Attitude Era, he went the whole time with the same gimmick. No, he's still the same gimmick.
Goldust is one of those wrestlers that people go, didn't he die? Didn't he die in like 2004? He had a heart attack like all those other guys.
Down the road, there'll be rumors that there was multiple Goldust.
Him and Rikishi, they died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, multiple Goldusts. Which one is the real Goldust? Oh, he was Doink.
And I'll tell you, and nobody else is going to be interested in this, but when you go to make your Black Rain character in SmackDown vs. Raw, if you try to do it just where you're editing the superstar threads, redoing the color, you can only edit the costume colors. You can't edit his face paint. So no matter what color you change his costume to, the face paint is still gold and black.
Great, I'll have the best of both worlds.
It's the worst of all worlds.
Now, it really is. It's the worst of the Attitude Era, the era before that, and the era after. It's the worst of all 3 eras of wrestling we've lived through that he's been around. And what creator wrestlers have you done? I created what I'm going to call the greatest Diesel ever to be created, and then I gave him all of Kane's moves and never played with him again.
Well, see, you don't have the online feature yet, do you?
No, I got to pay $10 for it, and I refuse to do it yet.
There's got to be somewhere online where you can get, because you get it for free when you buy the game new. It's the code on the back of the box or in the booklet or something.
I bought it used.
So, well, somebody's got to have it that they didn't. I don't know. Somebody had to have bought the game and not cared enough.
I created a new power bomb for the jackknife because no one can replicate how he did it. Now, actually, before we continue with this Goldust Black Rain, number 2 is a Schizophrenic. I'm seeing a top 15. Should we jump into that, or should we be content with this being the definitive list?
Oh, I don't know that it can be improved on. We could finish this list out, and maybe we do top 15 another show.
More turnbuckle punches than usual. Number 10. All right, I'm watching this. Wait, the Schizophrenic is a different move than I thought. Now he's doing something. Let me see. This is a suplex.
Oh, I remember that move.
Okay, that's okay. He picks. It's something they taught him when he got there. It's like, this is one of our TNA you must know moves before you can get into the octagon or hexagon. What you want to do is put him in a suplex, pick him up, and spin down.
We're going to send you out there with Shark Boy. We want you to try it out, see how it goes.
Yeah, look, give Shark. He loves getting the Schizophrenic. Now,
he does it every week from everybody.
No one sells the Schizophrenic like Shark Boy. One time he was schizophrenic out of his boots. The worst booker. That would be the worst booker ever. Just do the Schizophrenic, get the win, and we'll figure it out later.
Everybody's running.
This song makes... I don't see number 1 yet, but it's Shadow Dreams. Now, This song makes me hope it's a joke video, but at the same time, even if it is, there's 30,000 views, and also 45 likes to 8 dislikes. So it's not like people aren't all understanding whatever obscure joke he might be making.
You know, I was just looking at is I think what we're overlooking at, and is I'm sorry, I'm getting started. Is all the comments that are on this video.
What's the highlight so far? Because I see over 7 pages. There's 70
I see people debating how many versions of the curtain call there are. Whether the director's cut is actually the curtain call. Final cut is defo his best move.
Oh my God.
Super Panda 921 writes, "This sucks."
That's me. I just made that 1 month ago. I did that.
Oh, you're always using your Super Panda.
I got a daughter coming, and I can't have her looking at the top 10 Goldust moves. I need a family that not only is street smart but wrestling smart. And this is not going to help. It's going to dumb her down. This is the top 10 most watered down wrestling moves. Now let's watch the Shattered Dream together.
Wait, do you want to know the name of the song?
Yeah.
I was going to say earlier, this sounds like something that Mark Henry recorded for one of the WWF CDs. But as I found from Hognot, it's called "Put a Little Az on It" by Rikishi.
What? No.
Yeah.
No, first of all, are you trying to tell me that Mark Henry records songs? That's what I heard.
No, it just sounded like it would be a Mark Henry theme song when he was doing the sexual chocolate gimmick.
I don't think this is a Rikishi song. How could that
be
possible?
It's not Rikishi doing it, but they used to put out CDs that instead of entrance music, they would have original songs that they thought somehow fit the wrestlers. And that's when you got the Run DMC Kings of Rock DX version.
And great. So now we have Put a Little Ass on It. I'm glad they brought that into
somebody
the world.
did Put a Little Ass on It, and they were like, oh, this would be great for Rikishi.
Is that where Hulkster in Heaven came from? Or
this is a spin-off of the Wrestling Boot Band.
You know what? All I can see is the stinky face right here. Now, again, this Shattered Dreams is from a Royal Rumble, so watch out for any errand or random power slams that could happen anytime between the start and end. And he's doing it to a dead guy named Chaz. And did you know he's dead?
I didn't. I'm going to have to put him on my Dead or Alive wrestling trivia game.
Chaz Hawley is a dead man. That run really surprised me because he doesn't have a body that's going to weigh his heart down like some of these other guys might.
Yeah, and he didn't have the long career that would have taken its toll on him.
Right.
If he did, it was wasted somewhere else.
Well, he was just so hardcore for such a short period of time. It was too much hardcore.
It was all that headbanging.
It was the Shattered Dreams he took. Everything changed in that Royal Rumble.
Apparently his dream was not dying, and then Goldust just kicked it right out of him.
Goldust worked stiff with that Shattered Dreams.
Wait till you see the end.
It's just a stink face. All right. Well,
how does that fit in? They were like, oh, well, we use his music, so we got to put Rikishi in there.
The worst thing about this is that with most guys or any good wrestler, you could go, oh, okay, maybe this move will be on there. Maybe this move. He only does that move. He does that move better than other people. With this, it's like a generic moveset for a creator wrestler that isn't that athletic. It's not anything special or Goldust-esque. And there's one Black Rain move or two in all the 10. Basically, I wanted more Black Rain is my main complaint. Hopefully, there's a new video soon.
Well, we all wanted a little more Black Rain, but I think that lasted about 3 months.
Avoiding all the moves on this list. Let's say you're making the top 10 greatest moves or top 10 worst moves. We won't run through another whole list because we just ran through some brilliantly great and terrible moves.
Oh, I'm not going to top turnbuckle punches.
Yeah, you see, I had that written down here and I just had to delete it. So fuck you, Goldust. And let's say we'll just pick number one. So, do you want to do greatest or worst first?
I think it's easier to go best and then worst, because worst I feel like I could spend a little time on. Not a lot, but a little bit.
Yeah, we can breeze through best because we'll probably just disagree and move forward. Worst is there's so many worst. For one, the turnbuckle punches, the Shattered Dreams,
power slam,
the director's cut,
inverted atomic drop.
The third version of the director's cut? No, but all right. So with the poor Goldust, he's so successful, and we just act like he's not. We just pretend he's some new guy who sucks.
The guy's been providing for his family for over a decade, and we're like, fuck you.
He's the least generic wrestler that has the most generic moves. All right, so I'm going to tell you right now, the greatest move of all time is the jackknife powerbomb performed by Diesel, and the Sid powerbomb is comparable.
Yeah, and that was one I really wanted to go with, and I knew you were going to pick. I know that you're a big fan of that, but if I had to pick one, I do go with the Diesel one. There's something about it that when you come down, I don't know how to explain it. It's something he does with his arms. It really looks like he's just throwing you down and doesn't care where or how you land.
Yeah, my whole childhood up until a week ago, I was trying to figure out what set his move apart from any other power bomb. And Sid does the same thing, although they don't call it a jackknife. And Google gave me the answer. Basically, it's they call it the jackknife, and then free fall power bomb is in brackets. And the free fall effect is what makes the move, but somehow I couldn't pinpoint what made that move seem so effective.
Yeah, it really is the lack of caring about, and I'm sure it's still very controlled, but it's that impression that he's just going to let this guy fall, and he doesn't give a fuck. Because once he gets you up in the air, it's up to you to land.
And when Sid does it, sometimes they don't, like, you're supposed to drop him straight. Sometimes they'll fall sideways to him. Like, he'll just go whatever. He'll shrug in the middle. So that's what.
Yeah, but that's more Sid being sloppy than Sid trying to look good.
Yeah, that's Sid the top 10 Sid moves are the same as the Goldust moves, with the power bomb added as number 11. It's right up there.
So then you're excluding The Last Ride. You're not a fan of that version?
No, not at all. I think actually I do like the lift effect and all that, but I do not feel like the effect is there.
Wow. Okay.
It might be the Undertaker.
I think most people, though, I think there are going to be a lot of people that like The Last Ride better than some of the other power bombs.
There's something about the driving down power bombs that make them. And again, this is going away from The Last Ride a lot when I say Batista, because he has the worst powerbomb ever, the least effective. The fall down with him or the force down, to me, makes the move, or even JBL's. When you force him down and see him down with your arms, which The Last Ride kind of does, it almost makes the whole move like lose its excitement. Does that make sense? Do I make any sense when I'm babbling here?
No, when you see them, it's a better sight when you see them free falling. And it's a better sight when it comes from a guy that's, hitting the 7-foot mark. So it really, just, a couple inches, it really feels like they're just up there forever. And then they're just on their own, just falling to the mat. You get to see that. But when they come down with them, it gives the visual feeling that somehow they're guiding them down and protecting them.
And with that's true. And with Undertaker too, what is that, his third signature move or fourth now with submission holds being involved? I think the Undertaker character has numbed me to anything new that he does. I hated that gimmick when he had that move. It is, I got to admit, that effect when he lifts him before dropping him, it adds like a holy shit thing. But then it just kind of ends with a power bomb thing.
And I will credit that Undertaker for adding the power bomb to his moveset as he got older, which is something you think you'd stray away from, because it seems harder to do than just a tombstone.
Plus, he's like, well, a lot of other big guys do this. I could do this.
Yeah, it seems like at some point every tall guy is going to have to do a power bomb or a choke slam. Like, those are the two things. Like, somebody says, oh, you're big, get out there, and these are the two moves I want you to do.
And around the neighborhood, when I was dropping power bombs on the kids younger than me, it was the best fucking feeling, too. When you pick them up and they fight it, and one time the kid fought it, and I fucking dropped him on his neck, and it was like one of those things where it should have been in the local newspaper where I killed a kid or broke his neck. Me and my friend Bobby Taylor, we loved Shawn Michaels. Diesel was his bodyguard, so good for him. We chased this kid down. He ran behind one of the apartment buildings. I grabbed him, picked him up for the powerbomb, but he grabbed my leg or something, and I kind of fell while holding him. He landed on his neck and screamed, and I just ran away.
Did you ever check up on this poor kid? Like, do we know if he's still around?
I was peeking out the window, saw him walking home. I go, yeah, good. I'll get you later. I'll hit him with that.
He's fine.
There's no better feeling than hitting a powerbomb.
When looking into this, did you run across the video for the Kevin Nash giant powerbomb, him in the Big Show?
Yes, that was exactly what I did to the kid. The way that the best part of that video where he messes up the powerbomb on Big Show, which, by the way, who didn't see it coming. You're not giving him a powerbomb, jackknife, anything. The free fall effect is not happening.
The great part of that moment is that when he goes to do it, everybody in their living room goes, no fucking way. And then everybody goes, see, I told you.
The best moment is the Big Show's arms. Watch the Big Show's arms as he's like, and it's as much his fault as it is Kevin Nash's, because for one, if you're going to do that move, you got to launch yourself up. Now, as a kid, when I'm doing it to 3-year-olds, they don't need to launch. That's how real I am. But with with a guy like the Big Show, you need to launch yourself up. And he was such a green wrestler. And even when he came to WWE, didn't they send him down to like OVW for a while?
Yeah, you have to watch the Giants World DVD on Netflix.
Yeah, I did. That's why I was acting like I knew that, but I just watched that DVD.
Yeah, off the top of my head, if I remember correctly.
If I never watched that DVD, I would have said he was a great wrestler. I don't know how this messed up, but no. But he his arms and his face of like he like wiggles his arms out like he's exercising. It's great. But yeah, if you get a chance to, if you meet like someone younger than you who you can do wrestling moves to. Give them the Scorpion Death Drop, the backward. What is it? Reverse DDT? What's the word for it?
Reverse DDT.
What a feeling that is! That was my finisher for like 3 weeks in elementary school. I was walking around giving that to everybody.
A lot of head trauma that can happen there. I don't know if that's a good idea.
What was your finisher as a kid? I know you had one.
Well, as a kid, I think it's weird. I always went for just the regular DDT because we would do our living room brawls. And it would be me, my brother, and then like a bunch of his friends, and they were all older than me, and obviously like all of them were like twice my size. So I had to pick something that I could do to them, and so I was like DDT was the easy go-to. I would just kick them all in the gut and give them a DDT onto a couch cushion.
Well, here's the key to that: are they flipping over, or are they just falling on their face?
Oh, they're just doing the straight, flat. They didn't sell it well.
Well, no, that's good because that's the Raven DDT. If you're doing the flip over, it almost seems like it doesn't hurt them.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how well they do it because if you get them to go, you spike them on top of their head, and then they do that thing where they're on the top of their head straight up and down for like a half a second and then fall to their back.
Well, not everyone's RVD. I mean, come on. Not everyone can sell it like RVD. But yeah, that's definitely the best one.
Well, I expect high quality in my living room brawls.
So what's your top move of all time?
My top move, I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's called a cradle DDT.
All right, wait. Right away. Your favorite move can't start with I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Well, was it? The only time I had ever seen it was through, and I hate to say it, was through Conan.
So you saw it once. You've seen it once in your life, and it just
No, I've seen it a couple times, but Conan started doing it.
Wait, actually, let me look this up. The Cradle DVD. It sounds very familiar now that you say.
Yeah, there's a couple of versions. It's in wrestling games, but the first time I ever saw it was Conan was doing it before he really made a name for himself in WCW, and it's a where you have them held and then up in the air like their legs off the ground, and everything, and then you just drop it back into a DDT.
Okay. I see.
I'll explain it though, because that's what we ended up, which we'll get into down the road, when I did the real wrestling, when I did the matches, because I was primetime in those matches, and we had to come up with something. So I decided to go with the Cradle DDT.
And you killed somebody and you had to retire? Tell me you
No, but because we came up with this really great name for it because I was primetime, so we called it the Must-See DDT. Because that was in the era when NBC had must-see TV.
Yeah.
It was the best. I was so proud of it, but the thing was, it's like, it didn't matter what you called it, because there was nobody to tell the crowd of 1 to 200 people that's what it was called. Like, I was the only one that knew the name of this move, but I was very proud.
You should have screamed it, as you're doing it.
I was just gonna tell them. I'm like, okay, guys, what I'm gonna do here.
And everyone's like, I'm trying to talk on my phone or eat my popcorn. I'm not even watching you. But
there was no cell phones back then.
My favorite part of your whole wrestling career is that it sneaks in. Like we were supposed to talk about it in depth all at once, but it's just slowly sneaking in. Like, what a weird thing that you have a wrestling professional career to talk about. But we'll save it because
more than one match. And I almost slipped in a story when we were talking about power bombs. I have a power bomb gone wrong story, and I have a tombstone gone wrong story.
What, did you chase a kid behind the building and he grabbed your leg?
Yeah, and he had to come in though.
Didn't you power bomb the Big Show once? And I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was green. He didn't know what he was doing.
Has a move ever gone wrong on you?
The tombstone one did.
No.
And It still affects me to this day.
Oh yeah, WrestleMania 14. You were in that red mask. Didn't your head twist on the second tombstone?
I've been in a wheelchair ever since. It's horrible.
That's the worst. No, but were you obviously you weren't seriously hurt, right?
I don't know if I'd say seriously hurt. I never had to see a doctor or anything, but it did fuck me up for at least a week, and then every once in a while it'll come back. It's been a couple of years, but every once in a while it'll come back. We'll get into it.
So what went wrong? Just
my head was sticking out too far.
Oh God, was it a sit down one or a knee down one?
It was the full knee down. It was the straight up Undertaker.
That move,
tombstone pile driver. But the guy that did it, just when he picked me up and he turned me over, and he didn't stop long enough, because you kind of need to get a feel of where they're at so you can adjust for a second. And he just turned me upside down and went straight down, and everybody heard it when my head went down. Like, you heard the crack in my neck.
What is the worst wrestling move for you?
Okay, so the worst one, and it's such a common move, but I despise it because it makes no sense to me, is the drop kick.
Oh.
I hate the drop kick. And I'll tell you, there's two things I hate about the drop kick. One, if you were standing there and I jumped up and threw both my feet into you, the most you might do is stumble backwards. If I'm 10 times your size, I might knock you over if I get a real good one. But I'm going to come down and I'm going to fall on my side or my back. Like, you're probably still going to get up quicker than me.
So you hate the standing drop kick the most too, huh? Where they don't even have momentum. They're just kind of standing there doing it.
And then where it really loses me is that, so I throw you into the ropes. You are supposed to come bouncing back and I'm going to do a drop kick to you. But, because you're smarter, you hold on to the ropes. And I don't see that. I do my drop kick anyways. What happens? It hurts me.
Yeah.
Why does it hurt me if my feet don't touch your chest, as opposed to when my feet do touch your chest, then I pop right back up and you're hurt?
Well, the goal of every drop kick is to land on your feet, and sometimes if you can launch off
Who
the
drop
person,
kicks and lands on their feet?
you know what? That's my number one move if we find it. I think Ultimo Dragon did it once. But
we can't all be RVD.
That's a great one because, and also combined with your last comment is what could be the worst move that neither of us are going to talk about because you just accept it now, the Irish Whip. What's happening with that?
Momentum is a mystery in all of wrestling.
And that one really, there are times when I'm watching a match and I'm like, come on, stop. And then there are you just kind of accept it. That's like the most common thing. It's the setup. Like, that's when you can talk to the guy and say what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But so the drop kick's brilliant. I didn't really think of that. But I mean, when a Randy Orton does it, it's kind of impressive. And when they can get the effect that their legs come in, then back out, then you can kind of believe it. But most
that's
guys,
fine. I get why it looks okay. It just always bothers me that people don't stop. And it's like the momentum thing. It's like the Irish Whip, that people don't stop to think, why does blocking the drop kick hurt me?
Yeah,
I can never figure that out. What hurt about it that a regular drop kick didn't hurt?
And when you are jumping off the top turnbuckle onto somebody laying down and they put their foot up, what move were you trying to do?
I was going to do the move. I don't know. I can't even. I was going to try to make something up, and I got nothing there.
No, it's fine. Because what the guy was going to do, he was like, I was going to hit you, but instead I decided to taunt. So I jumped off, and I was just going to give you the middle finger, and then the foot.
Yeah, it's like I was just going to land on my feet, and you had to be a dick and throw your foot up.
And the best part is how I really thought you were saying you were trying to think of something, but you were being the wrestler, right? Who fell into the leg.
No, I was really trying to think of something.
Oh, because it works both ways.
I see us being real there. It's so real.
My worst move. Is absolutely
I'm dying to hear this.
I told you in the commentary, it's the slingshot. The slingshot is...
Oh, it's weird. You said that, and I didn't know you were still going to make that your worst move.
And my main reason, I've always hated it. I hate how the slingshot into the bottom rope happens. I hate how the slingshot happens in general. I hate that like I said before, the only pedigree reversal is the slingshot. So everyone's always doing that. Just flip them over your head. And I just don't buy how the slingshot's launching people over the turnbuckle into the post.
Yeah. I want to say WrestleMania 6, maybe 5. But it's Brutus Beefcake and Mr. Perfect. And he does that. He does the slingshot. And it sends Perfect over the turnbuckle and hits his head on the ring post and knocks him out cold.
And also the Elimination Chamber, my favorite of all matches, it's constantly happening. Just, put your hand on their head and put them into the cage. You don't need to slingshot them through the bulletproof plexiglass. You can just Irish whip them into it, and it'll be more believable.
And you're so dead on about that they put that in the wrestling games. If you play an elimination chamber match, that's one of the animations. Like if you're on the outside and you grab them, like it'll just do a slingshot into the chains.
And it's pretty cool when you get a slingshot, but then you jump onto the ladder and climb it. But you know what? It's been done. And we have to go. But before we do, the heart punch, I'm just throwing out there. The heart punch is a move that I've seen enough of. And I think it's only been like two people's finisher, but it's offensive.
I was told as a kid, like, I don't remember, someone's mom warned us not to do it because she said it could really stop your heart. And we got scared. Like, we stopped doing it.
It'd be the best if your wrestling promotion you wrestled for was like, don't ever do the heart punch. Don't ever take the heart punch. Do whatever you do, stay away from the heart punch. I've had 3 guys die from heart attacks.
Can we do pile drivers here? Yeah. Pile drivers are okay. How about DDT? DDTs are okay. Chair shots. Don't put your hands up. What about heart punches? No.
And then he links
not do the heart punch.
He's like, look at this Wikipedia. All these wrestlers have died from heart attacks. How do you think that happened? Heart punch.
Everybody knows what happened to the hurricane animal.
How great would it be if the phenomenon of all these dead wrestlers was that they took a heart punch from
At some point there? It's like the Kill Bill finishing where it just, they took the heart punch and then 3 years later they just dropped dead. Man, we went, it must have been cocaine.
Man, all I did was lose the match. No big deal. You're wrong. You're going to be dead. And there's if you actually look it up, there's an exact amount of time from the heart punch impact to the death, but no one's researching that, are they?
Everybody regrets that time they put Crush from DOA over.
Oh man, I wanted to talk about more, but we have more episodes, and we'll talk about them then. It is The Whole Fucking Show, Danny, on thewholefuckingshow.info. Twitter.com/fucking-show, YouTube.com/fucking-show-podcast, and The Whole Fucking Show on Facebook. My name's Kevin. I've engaged. And what are your names?
Danny and Primetime.
But combined, we are The Whole Fucking Show.